I can't lie, Cole Palmer really is cold. He's everything they pretend Phil Foden is going to be. I have to send shots at Foden, and I'm an Arsenal fan, and it's still fresh in the mind where the Etihad's concerned. Now, rival watch people. Chelsea are getting their house in order. Cole Palmer continues being ice cold in front of goals. He got not one, not two, not three, but four. He's moving like Arshavin, if I'm completely honest. Manchester United are in the mud, or even to say they're in the mud's probably paying them too much of a compliment. Spurs, obviously got 3 points. Liverpool did what they needed to do against Wolves. And obviously, I support Arsenal. We're not the topic of this video, but, we went 2 goals ahead. Then it became dramatic and we've, let a 2-goal lead slip. Now, it's all good. We got 3 points, but we can't allow that to happen. For Arsenal, had we have scored 4 goals in the first half or, been 4-0 up at one point in that game and then there was 2 goals conceded, we would still have some of the talking points. But very rarely in the Premier League do you give up 2 goals and you get 3 points. Giving up 3 is unthinkable. And there was a point I thought Leicester would do that. And ultimately, results and performances, they do correlate, but all that matters is points on the board. I actually feel Leicester's start to the season on paper is horrible. They need to get their act together. But I do think the rub of the green hasn't gone their way, and I think they're quite unfortunate. And I do think against us, first half, all Arsenal, it was pantomime settings. It was Emirates Cup vibes, We had them all camped in their half, couple of goals, probably should have had a couple of more. We're feeling good. Naturally, I do think there is an air of complacency within the Emirates Stadium, and specifically with our players. And I do think that led to our demise. Again, it's very different to the Brighton game, but it's now 2 games at the Emirates where early into the second half, whether it was a red card with Declan Rice, whether it was obviously what you saw with them getting early goal quickly, there's a lot of drama really. And where it comes to Europe, I prefer to play at the Emirates than away from home. Hopefully that's a good omen for the recent PSG game coming up. And then obviously where the Premier League is concerned, I love seeing my club at the Emirates. I love going to games. Obviously, we've pulled off some great results and we've got, we've got resilience and stuff, but I feel the games are too entertaining to the neutrals at the Emirates. You look, there's been several of them kind of games, Manchester United last season comes to mind. Obviously, the Brighton one pulls up different talking points. Bournemouth last season or the season before, and obviously the Leicester game. So we pat ourselves on the back for getting 3 points. It's all laughs and smiles, but for a team that's meant to be one of the greatest defensive teams currently in world football, that's not on. But removing myself from Arsenal, I've said it before, I think Maresca, I don't know when Chelsea fully get their house together, but I think Chelsea are on the verge of returning. It's a bit irrelevant, but similar to what you saw Mikel Arteta used to get mocked by with, the light bulb and talking about the atmosphere and getting dogs and the environment off the field. I see Maresca doing all of that. Now, Chelsea got good players. They've been underperforming. Say what you want about the players individually. They've got some good players. You see whenever the players that don't start, the ones that come off the bench, it is what it is. And if for some reason Chelsea were to get liquidated and whatnot, you look at Cole Palmer, Jadon Sancho, Ten Hag, you looking like the problem because he went back to Dortmund, he's doing his thing, getting assists for Chelsea, doing his thing. You look like the problem, but Cole Palmer, Lavia, if he could stay fit, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, the list got Fofana, Reece James, another one who could get fit, Gusto, João Felix, everyone apart from probably Mudryk. If Chelsea were to get liquidated and we're up for sale, these players wouldn't struggle to find a club. And I do think Chelsea's defending's getting better. They're getting better in terms of chance creation and chance conversion. Still think there's some tweaks in the midfield, but I actually think Chelsea are developing something special and they're going to get their house together. As a selfish Arsenal fan, I want to win a trophy, a major trophy before that happens. Big up Spurs. I hate the fact that I have to say that, but, neutral settings. They did everything Manchester United didn't do. They had a game plan. They were competent. The players understood individually their job, and they were confident in the final third. They were confident. They weren't asked any real questions. Zertsky probably should have scored. They did everything they needed to do, and they deserved their 3 points. There's nothing bad you can say about Spurs. The only thing you would say about Spurs is if they had a better level of attackers, 3-0 compliments Manchester United, in my opinion. It should have been 7, 8s, 9s, maybe even 10s. They really should have done that. For Manchester United, whether they win, lose, or draw, maybe not as exaggerated as the recent performance just has gone, but it's the same old performances, win, lose, or draw. Again, no matter, you look at Postecoglou, Ten Hag, Maresca, Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta, Cooper, Unai Emery, I'm just saying random managers. They've all got different philosophies. What one manager might think is the most important to their game, another might think is the least important. But football's a simple game. It's so simple, it's complex, but it's a simple game. You need to keep balls at the back of your net, need to put balls in the back of your opponents. Manchester United haven't got bad attackers. Say what you want about Højlund, about Zertsky, about Rashford, about all of them players. They underperforming chance creation, let alone chance conversion. The whole team's ethos in relation to defending is horrible. Van der Ven quality moment from him. If an attacker did that, if Saliba or Gabriel did that, boy, I'd be waffling about it in about 20 videos. It's lovely from him, and it's a great moment and great composure from the centre half to set up Brennan Johnson. Big up Brennan Johnson, who's continuing his goal scoring. I'm a fan of positive criticisms and a laugh and a joke. I don't really rate Brennan Johnson. He's an easy target. What I'm not a fan of is people, making a man deactivate his social media channels and carrying on in that kind of vein and doing all of those kind of things. That's not on. So it's good for him to continue his goal scoring form and get a bit of confidence definitely not Chelsea. From a United point of view, the centre half's galloped forward. He's galloped forward. Nobody's close to him until it's too late. Bad habits. I don't think Lisandro Martinez was rubbish for one of the goals. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think Onana's a terrible goalie. I don't think De Ligt's a terrible player. Mazarawi's probably been one of their best signings in recent years, and I don't think De Ligt's bad. But their defense has bad habits individually and collectively. The whole ethos, and you tie into the midfield. The hell is going on? Bruno Fernandes, don't know what he's on. Mason Mount's been a flop. Ugarte, I would describe him as tigerish. Should really describe him as a pussycat. Don't know what Ten Hag's doing. There's teams that will finish below Manchester United. You look at Southampton, you look at Ipswich with Russell Martin and McKenna. They've got an ethos and a way of playing or an identity. People mock Arsenal for being a defensive side. There's an identity there. I mock Spurs for being very naive and talking about possession. Postecoglou's got an identity there. Unai Emery has an identity. You took the job before Ten Hag. You're not seeing any of that Ajax stuff. You're buying Ajax players and they're underperforming. You're buying key players and they're underperforming. You're taking young kind of rough diamonds and leaving it to them to their own devices. Kobe Mainoo's a young player. As great as he is, there's going to be volatility in his performance, right? He's left to his own devices. Josh Rezertsky left to his own devices, even though he should have scored. Højlund just coming back from injury, left to his own devices. It's all a shambles from Ten Hag. Ten Hag can leave with his head held high because in 20 years, people are not going to necessarily remember all of the mad results that's happened at Manchester United. History is going to look at he's won 2 trophies. He's done that. He's probably on paper one of the most successful pre-Sir Alex Ferguson managers. But in reality, he's stealing a living. There's no Ajax ethos. There's no progressive football. There's no defensive stability. There's no fight, desire, hunger. There's no pride. All of the previous connotations with Old Trafford and Manchester United are non-existent. And that goes off the field as well. I know they've brought in the Enos group and, I don't know if Ten Hag's going to last this long because you got Porto now, you got Villa, you got some tough games coming thick and fast, but it's a complete shambles off the field for Manchester United, let alone on it, really and truly. And Liverpool and City fans, 2 of their rivals, and definitely me as an Arsenal fan, I love it. I hate the fact that Spurs won. I would have preferred United to win, of course, but it's an absolute shambles. Arne Slot and Liverpool, bounced back from last week, got the 3 points. I do think Wolves made it tougher than it might have looked on paper, but they got the 3 points. Obviously, to see Manchester City drop points after the whole shenanigans against Arsenal, be humble, Haaland is amazing. Manchester City are not going to drop too many points. And, I'm quite sad that they never lost because I think for anyone else to have a chance at this league, they actually have to lose games. Drawing, they've dropped 2 points, still unbeaten like Arsenal this season. They need to drop points, full points, need some L's. We all know, every football fan, whether you support a Premier League team or not, you all know at some point City probably next year, because that's when they typically do it. The second half of the season, they click and kick into gear and move. I personally think they're going to dip into the market in January to find someone that can kind of mimic what they want from Rodri. They obviously have injury concerns with him, Kevin De Bruyne. The games are coming thick and fast and have been for the last 2-3 years for the majority of those City players. I don't know when the Club World Cup is to be played, but if that's mid-season, that could be a spanner in the works. So yeah, man, out of the traditional top 6, whether people, getting there or not, I think United are ticking up. United are terrible easily. I think Spurs are doing their thing. I think Liverpool got 3 points. Nice to see Arsenal showed some resilience and fight. It looks peak for Man United. And I want to hear what Roy Keane has to say, because you was very critical and had a lot to say with Arsenal's 10-men performance against treble winners, 100 points. Pep Guardiola, who's turned this into a Farmers League. You're playing naive Postecoglou Spurs. Didn't offer nothing. Vicario had nothing to do. Nothing. A man that cries if Benjamin White is playing with his glove and can't catch a ball, really and truly. At times, from catching a ball, he's as useless as a chocolate teapot. He didn't look that yesterday. Credit to Spurs, commiserations to United. But that's my thoughts in relation to Rivals Watch. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and all of those good things, people. And again, on my main channel, I've actually got 2 copyright strikes. I'm trying to fight it. That channel might get put in the bin. So I need you lot to support, make the YouTube algorithm go crazy, and all of that stuff, people. So yeah, on that note, Peace.